very honored to be standing here. I just want to make a statement that I'm going to deviate from my speech a little bit after hearing all of this, and so I just want the speaker to just, tag me when I have run out of time or when I have 1 minute left, if that's okay.
Noted.
I produce a television show called Woman Show, and it was started almost 5 years ago to make gender-based violence more visible, but rather the failures within the system. And I was going to come and speak about the failures in the justice system. I'm just going to throw out a quick statistic that I used, like from the first time, almost 5 years ago. In South Africa, we have almost 50,000 reports of sexual violence reported at the police station every single year. This, our last fiscal year, it was 54,040, so it's actually gone up. Our justice system boasts a conviction rate of 74.4%, which looks really good. However, that 74% is under 4,000 convictions. And so you could almost look at, more than 90% of these cases don't even make it to court. And so with that, I wanted us to interrogate, when we look at data, and we think about accountability, and we think about systems. We speak a lot about gender-based violence, but often when we're outside and we're protesting and we're giving the interviews, we don't actually know the scale of the problem, and we don't know why those numbers are so low. And so we need to be holding on to the actual data so that when we go to them, we can say, but why only 3,000 and odd cases? We can't solve it if we don't know what the problem is. I'm going to read a small piece of the speech that I had prepared. I was going to say, one of the central questions was, do women matter? And how do we tell if women matter? So if you look at the legislation only, South Africa has some of the best legislation in the world with regard to gender-based violence, actually. So if you're looking at the paper says, yes, women matter. However, when you look at statistics like that, it tells a different story. Last week, the Public Protector released a report. I'm just going to read some of the stuff. They did a full-scale investigation into our justice system responses to gender-based violence. The Public Protector's report found very specific and grave failures in the implementation of our beautiful legislation and policies, which include but are not limited to the following: poor maintenance at courts with cracked walls, leaking roofs, unhygienic ablution facilities, exposed electrical wiring, broken ceilings, doors and windows, and some incomplete building projects ongoing over a period of 10 years. Inadequate office equipment such as malfunctioning telephone lines, switchboard and air conditioners, persistent network problems, broken photocopiers, resulting in court users experiencing unnecessary delays in receiving services. Some courts do not have a fully functional integrated case management system, which is mostly inaccessible or very slow, while the majority of courts do not have proper filing systems and space, evidenced by files scattered on the floor or even kept in police cells, which is in contravention of our legislation, by the way. And last but obviously not least, there are no consistent timelines in the application and issuing of interim protection orders required to assist victims of domestic violence. And I would urge everyone, if you Google it, it'll come up, go and read it. This investigation of our GBV Justice Services was prompted by the murder of Miss Altisha Korchi, sorry, I was asking somebody to voice note me, Korki, and her daughter, Renisha Korki, exactly 4 years ago today, on the 12th of June 2020, by an abusive ex-partner. I extend my condolences to the family. I know that every anniversary of a death brings a new wave of grief, and so I just want to acknowledge that. And women's lives are not worth the paper that they are writing the statements on. I just want to throw out, so the report is given the Department of Justice and SAPS and the Department of Social Development 210 and 180 days respectively to fix these problems. And so I'm urging everybody, engaging with these types of issues is also active citizenship. This is also where we need to raise our voices. And so if you go and download the Public Protector's report, I think that we could all, with a very specific timeline, start tracking 210 days and 180 days, be able to go back with that report in hand and ask them what has been done. Visit courts yourself and go and find out whether it has been fixed. And if it hasn't, we need to ask a different question, and this is where I want to segue. We've spoken about menstruation, we've spoken about AI taking over blue-collar jobs, we've spoken about civil society organizations who feed children at or after school. So far, climate is the only area where we have mentioned capitalism and economic exploitation. What do all of these have in common, including the issues mentioned in the Public Protector's report? Money. Okay, I think it's wonderful that we have almost a full panel of women at the TED conference, but a stereotype that has persisted is that while we have been speaking about the state of our various departments, hardly any of us, as is usual for females, have not mentioned money, the cost and budgets required to address these issues. I've been doing the Women's Show for almost 5 years. We focus a lot on gender-based violence for the first 2 years, but we have been shifting away from that, and for the past year and a half, possibly, what I speak about when I in my network, and this is in my personal network with my friends, this is the women who come onto my show, this is the women who head up organizations, these are lecturers at institutions, these are researchers, is that there is no money. And there isn't just money to do the work. There isn't just money not to feed all of these women who are feeding kids after school at food community kitchens, who fed communities during COVID, were doing it out of their own pocket. Literally. Their own money. They cannot pay their children's school fees because they are making big pots of soup, right, for people who get one meal a day. And so we need to be thinking about, when we are interrogating this data, and when we're thinking about cracked roofs, and we're thinking about all of those stuff, it's fine and well, every year they say they're going to fix it, but when we come back, they say there's no money to fix it. So where is the money? And I want to acknowledge that it is very difficult to be an active citizen if you do not have taxi fare to get to the court to go and protest there. Perhaps it is a bit ironic that I came up after Chapter 5, because I came here with my sister-in-law, and just before we came here, I just said to her, oh my God, I'm waiting for somebody, I don't have petrol in my car, can we please take your car? And it's a very difficult thing for me to say. And that's a very difficult thing for me to admit. Lately I've been making lists of people, women, mothers with jobs, who are taking stuff into cash converters. And I want to find out what that data looks like. Because there's no liquid cash in hand, right, to buy food and electricity. So did you know that the root word of economy is household? The majority of us were raised on a woman's budget and a woman's economy. This household. Did you know that women make up 45% of South Africa's total labor force, yet they earn an average of 30% less than male workers, reports Stats SA. Women also spend 2.5 times more on unpaid care and domestic work, i.e. raising kids and maintaining the household, than men, which UN Women estimates would constitute 10 to 39% of GDP if assigned a monetary value. And let me just say, when we talk about financial literacy, I don't even know what GDP is. Okay, I've been spending the 6 months trying to, every time I have to go back and Google inflation, because I don't understand how this 100 rand in my pocket is worth less than 3 months ago. It's buying less electricity. That's what it looks like in reality, and I don't understand, and I feel stupid if I ask that question. But that is part of the problem, right? That is why we need to be asking the stupid questions. And despite me representing the Ministry of Women, I want to know that this isn't just about women, okay? If you look at COVID, the movement of males during COVID who went home to their mother's house, almost 50% of households are female-headed households, right? So we have that doesn't just, I mean, when they talk about it, they talk about divorce, but that's not what it means. That means that all of these women are spending a significant amount of money from a single salary on multiple people. Latest statistics show that a basic food basket as of May 2024, I looked this up last night and emailed it to myself because I couldn't understand how come there's so much money left at the end of my money, but the latest statistic shows that a basic food basket as of May 2024 costs 5,330 rand for a family of 4, which is often sourced from a single salary. It's often sourced from a mother's salary who earns less as a result of a gender pay gap. And so, that's all fine and well, but I think what I want to say is perhaps when we look at the next one, we definitely need a Minister of Finance here. So that we can start addressing where we are going to get the resources to fix all of these problems.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Lenina, presenting on the state of women's rights. A very interesting insight.